Welcome to Anime Saga. Let's jump straight into the recap. Nikuko is just a restaurant waitress, yet she is the most cheerful person in town. You would never guess she had been hurt by several scumbags in the past. 16, Nikuko started working at a fast food restaurant where she met a charming man. However, after he left her with a huge debt and ran away, she had to work tirelessly for 10 years to pay it off. 27, she moved to a new city, only to be deceived again, this time by a man pretending to be a struggling student. He used Nikuko's money to date 8 different girlfriends. Heartbroken, she moved again. 30, she fell for a seemingly decent married man who... However, Nikuko later discovered he had another child during this time. Though furious, she left quietly upon seeing a child's bicycle outside his home. 33, a battered Nikuko moved to Tokyo and switched jobs from fast food to a deli, hoping to avoid deceitful men. But she soon met a so-called novelist who, while not unfaithful, never finished writing anything and only spent her money on books. Despite this, Nikuko genuinely cared for him. She believed they would stay together until one day he disappeared, leaving behind a note saying he was going home to die. Worried, Nikuko boarded a train to a northern fishing harbor, searching for him house by house. However, the town was so small that she soon realized it wasn't even his real hometown. Word spread of a woman searching for a missing man with her 8-year-old daughter in tow. In the end, a barbecue restaurant owner took pity on them, offering Nikuko a job and renting them a cheap boat to live in. Thus, they settled in the fishing village. Nikuko was nothing like the typical mother figure. She was loud, carefree, and had a unique fashion sense. Nikuko was referred to by everyone as Nikuko-san because it quite literally means meat lady. She was morbidly obese. Her entire body wobbled as she walked. She snored like a kitten and could finish a meal in a single bite. She adored beef tendon and also had a weird sense of humor. Kikuko found her mother's quirks embarrassing and dreaded running into classmates when out with her. However, she didn't dislike Nikuko. Her mother always praised her for being smart and cute. And despite her exhaustion from work, she prioritized washing Kikuko's gym clothes by hand. Having witnessed Nikuko's painful romantic past and their constant relocations, Kikuko matured quickly and rarely expressed emotions openly. When all the girls in her class started wearing bras, she secretly wished she would never develop. Subconsciously, she feared becoming a woman because of Nikuko's hardships. With her slim figure and delicate features, people often said she didn't look like Nikuko's daughter, but she never bothered to correct them. At school, Kikuko maintained a distant but polite demeanor with everyone. Her only friend, Maria, had approached her when she was new. Later, when basketball became popular during lunch breaks, Kikuko was always picked first for teams, while Maria, who couldn't play, was left out. Feeling unfairly treated, Maria tried to persuade Kikuko to switch sides and team up against their classmate Sassen. Kikuko, disliking cliques, refused. One day, Maria invited Kikuko to her house after school, along with the boys from the opposing basketball team. Kikuko realized that going would mean listening to their bad-mouthed Sassen, forcing her to take sides. While she debated, Nikuko cheerfully celebrated buying 3 discount loaves of bread. Seeing Kikuko's dilemma, Nikuko casually suggested a simple solution. Inspired, Kikuko declined Maria's invitation with a small lie. Though she felt guilty, she also felt relieved. However, Maria and the boys soon confronted her, demanding she pick a side. Kikuko remained silent. From then on, Maria distanced herself, spreading rumors about her. Kikuko endured the bullying quietly. At a local festival, Kikuko noticed that Maria, who had tried so hard to fit in, was now left alone. The clique she joined had abandoned her. Although Kikuko sympathized, she didn't approach Maria. By the time the new school term started, the class had divided into 2 main factions, Sassen's group and the rival group. Maria, however, was completely isolated. Kikuko, who always went to and from school alone, had a chance encounter with the boy she secretly liked, Ninomiya. She first noticed him because he always covered his face with his bangs and would occasionally make strange faces. Her curiosity soon grew into affection. Ninomiya later explained that his odd facial expressions were involuntary, so his mother had enrolled him in a class to improve his focus. For the first time, Kikuko, who had always kept her distance from people, impulsively followed Ninomiya. Along the way, he took her to his secret hideout, a small hill overlooking a fish pond. Perhaps influenced by Ninomiya's honesty, Kikuko opened up about her worries. However, when she mentioned Maria, Ninomiya casually remarked that she was cute. Hearing his crush compliment another girl frustrated Kikuko, but it also allowed her to finally express feelings she had long suppressed. She vented about the unfairness of Maria's clique and her resentment, but as she let out her anger, she also realized she had never been truly honest about her friendship with Maria. Determined to make things right, Kikuko ran to Maria's house, and they finally had an honest conversation, apologized, and rekindled their friendship. This moment became a significant step in Kikuko's emotional growth. As autumn arrived, Kikuko noticed that Nikuko had gained weight. But what worried her more was that Nikuko made secret phone calls every Tuesday at midnight, whispering as if hiding something. Kikuko recalled seeing her mother chatting with an okonomiyaki vendor at a festival. If she were dating again and things went wrong, would they have to move to a new town once more? The thought made Kikuko restless. During the school sports festival, she felt as though someone was secretly taking photos of her, but whenever she looked, there was nothing. Nikuko also acted strangely. She ignored her own large rice balls and instead ate Kikuko's smaller ones. When it was time for the parents' race, Nikuko wanted to win first place for Kikuko. Nervous, she false started 3 times. Her heavy, clumsy body struggled to keep up, but she continuously ran, sweat pouring down her face. Her determination moved the crowd, and she became even more well-known around town. Soon, people constantly asked Kikuko about her mother whenever they saw her. Nikuko remained as cheerful as ever, but Kikuko became convinced she was dating someone. Pretending not to care, she subtly inquired at the barbecue restaurant, only to be told there was no such person. The restaurant owner, noticing Kikuko's worry, made sure the staff dinner included the best beef chuck steak. That night, the delicious meal momentarily lifted Kikuko's spirits, but deep down, she was more anxious than ever about the possibility of moving again. The next morning, severe stomach pain woke her up. First, she thought it was from the beef, but she quickly dismissed the idea. After all, the restaurant owner had specifically warned them never to get food poisoning. If she admitted to being sick, they might lose their home. Determined, Kikuko endured the pain in silence. When Nikuko noticed her pale face, she claimed it was just a cold. She planned to take medicine while Nikuko was out, but found the medicine box empty. Pain grew unbearable and she collapsed, losing consciousness. When Kikuko woke up in a hospital bed, seeing Nikuko crying in guilt over her daughter's suffering, Kikuko finally gathered the courage to confess a secret she had been hiding since childhood. When she was around 4 years old, she found a photo of Nikuko with another woman who looked exactly like her. She had always feared that Nikuko would abandon her because she wasn't her biological daughter. But now, she decided she wouldn't live in fear anymore. She encouraged Nikuko to pursue her own happiness, so she wouldn't have to make secret phone calls at night. That moment, Nikuko hesitated before revealing the truth. Kikuko's birth mother, Mio, was a former co-worker Nikuko met while working to pay off her debt. They became as close as sisters, supporting each other through hard times. They carefully budgeted their money, ensuring they never overspent. Just when they finally repaid their debts, Mio, who had thought she couldn't have children, realized she had missed several menstrual cycles. Overjoyed, Nikuko cried tears of happiness. They eagerly awaited the arrival of the unexpected baby. Nikuko worked multiple jobs to provide for both Mio and the unborn child, while Mio stayed home to take care of herself and prepare for motherhood. On the day Kikuko was born, both women held the baby in their arms, sobbing tears of joy. However, Mio was still very young at the time. Suddenly becoming a mother had been overwhelming for Mio. She was terrified and unable to bear the pressure, so one day she left Kikuko behind with a bunch of money and disappeared. Nikuko had kept that money all these years, only taking it out when Kikuko fell ill. Recently, Mio got married and had another child at her age. Wanting to find Kikuko, she searched across the country until she finally managed to contact Nikuko. During the school sports festival, she even secretly came to see Kikuko. Nikuko truly understood, forgave, and still loved Mio, and she didn't want Kikuko to feel abandoned. That's why she kept telling Kikuko good things about Mio. Nikuko didn't know if Kikuko felt happy, but she was willing to do anything for her. Kikuko wanted to live with Mio, she would let her go. Those words suddenly took Nikuko back to years ago, when she was so exhausted from work that she could fall asleep sitting up. Back then, little Kikuko would sing and dance to cheer her up. The adults who raise you aren't perfect, nor are they the kind of grown-ups you imagined. But they love you unconditionally, wanting only for you to have a better life than theirs. That love is strong enough to withstand all the hardships of the world. Last, Kikuko truly understood the love and reliance she and Nikuko had for each other. Even without blood ties, she would never be abandoned. During her week in the hospital, Maria, who had once been against her, came to visit, and Ninomiya also visited the day before she was discharged. That day, the first snow of the season fell from the sky, and under the shimmering lights, Kikuko felt a tangible sense of happiness, just like when she first saw Ninomiya's miniature model of the town. Memories, dreams, and the present all intertwined, radiating light as they drifted toward the sky.
小さなこの漁港に降り注いでいた。雪は春まできっと溶けないだろう。
Later, Kikuko experiences stomach pain again, making Nikuko worried that it might be another serious illness. But this time it's just her first period. Both physically and emotionally, Kikuko has undergone a transformation, from a girl into a young woman. The shame she once felt about being an unplanned child dissipates, and with it, her anxiety, loneliness, and the subtle distance between her and Nikuko also vanish. She no longer sees Nikuko as the exaggerated, naive woman she once thought her to be. Instead, she now sees her as a kind, loving, and respectable figure. In the movie, Nikuko seems to possess an endless capacity for forgiveness and love. No matter what, she remains optimistic and cheerful. If wealth were measured by happiness, then Nikuko would surely be poor. But in her ability to face hardships with resilience and joy, she is richer than most people. Because of this, Kikuko, who grew up sensitive and mature beyond her years, can finally face reality with courage. With a heart healed by love, she embraces a future filled with warmth. The movie not only portrays a girl's coming-of-age journey and the challenges of female identity, but also finds healing and comfort in the everyday struggles of ordinary people. It reminds us that no matter how hard we try to be good adults, shame and failure are inevitable. Therefore, the most important thing is simply to be yourself. Always believe in love and love wholeheartedly as if you've never been hurt before. May we all have such love in our lives or become someone who brings kindness and warmth to others.